Happy Friday night live, everybody. It has been a hard week, a busy week, a lot going on in the world, a lot going on in the law. There are people evacuating in the South, fires in the West. We have wildness going on abroad. So first, there are some thoughts to send out. One of our friends to the channel in the commentary community, Nick Schneider, lost his mom this week, and he and I have been in contact a little bit. But just sending thoughts out to him and his family. It is a lot to go through. Losing someone, particularly during this time, it is tough. We also lost service members in Afghanistan. So to all of our military law nerds and our military adjacent law nerds and friends and family, I know it's affected the military community tremendously, and our thoughts are with you. But with that, it is time to get into Friday Night Live because we are here to talk about stuff that at the end of the day is super relevant to some, but a lot of it is just not, especially when it comes to Nirvana. We're going to talk about that for a minute. There's a new podcast episode coming for you on that very soon. It's a lot to talk about, but tell me where you're coming from because I would like to see. I have a little bit of a claw this evening and a whole lot of water because my throat's been super dry. And let's just get into it. Let's just get into it. Y'all tell me where you're coming from. And we're gonna get started. Oh yeah. And it binged. So we're gonna do that too. All right, y'all. Let's get into it. Let's roll it. Let's roll it.
Hey there. If we haven't met yet, I'm Emily D. Baker, the badass lawyer and everyone's favorite legal commentator. I'm the host of The Emily Show, and I break down the legal shit behind the news and pop culture stories we all want to talk about. I have been a licensed attorney for over 15 years, but this is not legal advice. I should warn you, I'm a big fan of the cursey words. This channel is where the law nerds unite to talk about facts, not fuckery.
Y'all, we have facts to talk about tonight. We have cases to talk about tonight. We have a weekly roundup for tonight. We have a lot. And then we have a lot of Girardi stuff to get into because we have financial documents, and aren't they always so much fun to go over? I think so. Last night we had a members only live stream and we celebrated the Bing with Dr. B. So many of you have enjoyed my husband on episode 100 of the podcast. We might have to start doing that a bit more regularly. What do you think? I think so too. And then there are some fun little announcements coming, but we're going to get to those next week. Don't you worry about it. We've got some stuff coming with some more fun benefits for those that want to support the channel over on our Law Nerd community that is going to be partially moving to Patreon. And you guys will get all the details on that next week. So that is the housekeeping stuff we needed to do. But let's talk about our weekly roundup. All right. Should we talk weekly roundup? Are you ready? I want to know what stories well, no, don't tell me. Y'all tell me in the DM. I'm like, I want to know what stories you were hoping to see. No, I don't. We have a lot. We have so much to talk about, and we've been running so long that I'm going to try to get to everything. But the weekly roundup is going to be a very brief weekly roundup. So that's where we're at. Let's do our weekly roundup, shall we? That's the wrong one. See, I do these myself, and I just hit the wrong button. Hello, Amsterdam. It's good to see everybody. Thank you guys for the support. And what was I going to say? I saw Celine. Where did your super chat go? I lost it. Hello from Tijuana, drinking Lusa double IPA. I hope I said that right. I'm like, whoop, whoop. That's what we got. So, all right, let's get into it. First things first, we have talked a lot about the Tati Westbrook cases here. And we talked on Tuesday. And Tuesday had so much going on that we didn't get into like all of it, but we only have so much we can get into tonight too, because there are so many Girardi documents and I want to answer questions about those too. So I went back in to check to see if that order had finally been signed regarding the Tati Westbrook hearing in the Clark Swanson case. So we're going to just do a brief breakdown of what the fuck it is, what we're talking about, and why this matters. Tati Westbrook is currently involved in three lawsuits with regard to Halo Beauty, essentially. One in Los Angeles filed by her business partner against her husband, the company, and all this stuff. One in Washington that's just personal, but it's about all the business stuff, but it's defamation related to all the business stuff. And one, in Nevada. This is why we should just stick to water. One in Nevada. And the one in Nevada is the one that we're talking about today, where Halo Beauty is suing Clark Swanson. And then I say Tati is suing because Tati and James are the majority members of the company. They own 66% of it. Clark Swanson owns a third. This is what the entirety of everything is over, right? The like, you had a 50%, now you have a third, and who says what? I was going back through the 400 pages of opposition that we started talking about on Tuesday that we will get back to next Tuesday. There are some inconsistencies in some of those documents. And so as I'm going through them more deeply, I'm like, there's some stuff in here that's odd. But again, now it's all on record. So if anything's contradictory, it's all going to be like, and Clark Swanson's team filed objections to the order that was proposed by Tati Westbrook's attorneys. The court asked for one order with regard to the not the temporary restraining order, preliminary injunction. And the preliminary injunction was turning over and possession of corporate documents. And that's exactly what the court decided to do. The court issued an order granting the preliminary injunction in part to the turning over of the corporate documents. So this is a win for the Westbrooks to get all of those documents before discovery even starts. I mean, it's their corporation too. They should have access to all the documents, and that's what they're trying to do. So this is exactly what was submitted by plaintiffs. And the court was like, yeah, we're going to do that one. And we're going to ignore the objections sent in by Clark Westbrook. They are noted for the record. And we are moving on. So that's really all. The court finds that. And we started with every single paragraph of this being objected to by Swanson's team. The court left every single thing in that was asked for. And this is what's being turned over. Administrative control of and access to Halo Beauty Partners QuickBooks account. This isn't groundbreaking shit, but for a business, it could be. You need the QuickBooks. The customer service or customer support voicemail. Yeah, you're going to need that too. The corporate checkbooks, get it. You're probably going to want those if you're running a business. The corporate checkbook registers, and we'll provide the following documents. So again, the reason this is a big deal is because this is before all the formal discovery processes begin and allows the company to continue to operate. And Swanson objected to it and the court said, nah, we're going to let it be. We're going to let it be. Halo Beauty Partners bookkeeping and accounting records for 2021, all signed agreements with third parties or vendors that were executed and negotiated during 2021, any lease agreements or real estate proposals from 2021, access to the accounts that provide records for Halo Beauty Partners within 2 days of the date of the entry of this order. So that's going to be, what's today? The 27th. This was entered the 25th. So like today. Halo Beauty Partners will deposit a bond in the amount of $10,000. And it looked like from court records that was deposited. It was signed by their local council in Nevada, and it was signed as not approved by Clark Swanson's attorney, which is kind of funny. It was not approved, but the court signed it anyway. So that's where it is. Are you guys surprised by that the court just was like, what we're not going to do? What we're not going to do is continue to fight over this. Let the business run. I mean, I wasn't particularly surprised, and I'm sure that you guys aren't particularly surprised, right? Next up, we have to talk just a little bit. I did a YouTube short on it, but they're only a minute long, so I didn't get to all the stuff, and I saw a ton of questions, and I was like, we have to talk about this just a little bit. Just a little bit. Nirvana baby sues Nirvana over album cover, and the complaint reads like a temper tantrum. I don't like this complaint at all. Normally, I'm like, hey, I could see this argument here. I could see that argument there. Here are the facts. This complaint's just all fuckery. I don't like it. I don't like this lawsuit. I'm angry that it was filed. I think the court's going to be angry about it. I have a whole podcast episode of The Emily Show. The audio's out, the video's coming out, that breaks down this complaint and what they're alleging. Really? You're having trouble hearing me? Interesting, Siri. Well, shush. The entire complaint is conjecture and speculation and a reach. But here's the important factors. One, the statute of limitation on this has passed. The statute of limitations is the time with which you have to bring a case. And under the counts that they're bringing, it's 10 years from when dude turned 18 if he was a minor, and he was 4 months old when the photo was taken of the album cover for Nevermind. So he's 30 now. That's more than 28. So that ship sailed a couple of years ago. The statute of limitations is there for a reason. And I don't think that the federal court's going to end route the statute of limitation in this case. Also, I don't think it meets any of the definitions of what they're trying to make it be. They're trying to make it be an illicit photo. It's not. There can be nudity that is not illicit or illegal. That's what this is going to be. So if they ever got to that question, the court would be like, no, we're not doing it. No, we're not doing it. We're not doing this. The fact that it was even brought, that a lawyer signed this complaint, makes me angry. Like, no, nope. Sometimes you have to look at somebody who wants to pay you money and say, you know what? No, I can't say something is in fact a cause of action if it is on its face not a cause of action. But I think the court will yeet this for statute of limitations right out the bat. But people are still going to have to deal with their attorneys. There's like 13 different plaintiffs on the or defendants on the thing. So they're going to have to deal with it. And that it just seems like a waste of court time and resources to me to bring something that can never succeed on the merits, on the complaint, and is time barred by the statute of limitations, and clearly time barred by the statute of limitations. So yeah, of the cases I've covered, this one makes me almost as mad as Triller. That's where we're at. Almost as mad as Triller. Almost. Sandy said, seeing Tom Girardi walking in a bathrobe and boxers carrying a thermos and a toaster saying, all I need is a thermos with grabbits on his glasses. I have no idea what you're referencing, but okay. Southern Mississippi here, Ida is heading straight for us. My two biggest concerns are hitting the liquor store, fair for hurricane party supplies, and making this live. Sarah, I feel like you have your priorities in order. Some water and maybe a generator, and stay safe. We hope you will be well. And hopefully it will just fall apart and we won't have, what we don't need is a wicked hurricane season right now. Like, nobody has time for that. Right? Can we just not? Can we just not? So let's talk about something that we covered on Tuesday, and there was an abrupt about face. Well, there were two very important about faces this week, and we need to talk about them. About face. First about face. Niantic reversed the very unpopular decision to go back to shrinking the radius which you can spin Pokestops and gyms in Pokemon Go. This is a very big deal. I was very happy that Niantic listened to the creators that create in Pokemon Go and all of the players of the game who were like, this is a dumb change. Don't do that. Why would you do that? This makes everything worse. We hate it here when you make this change. Stop it, stop it, stop it. And you know what? Niantic turned around and went, we have listened to you. We're going to go ahead and stop it. We're not going to do that. We're going to backpedal, pretend it didn't happen. We've heard you, creator community. I mean, it took you making a lot of noise on Twitter and trending, but we have heard you and we are good. And so I'm so thankful for creators in the Pokemon Go space who actually use their voices to be heard, to make gameplay a little easier. It's something that matters to me because I live out in the sticks. So a lot of the Pokestops I can't even reach because of the way that they're populated on the map. And I'm like, I can't actually get there. So I'm very excited. So to the Pokemon Go creators, I watch quite a lot Trainer Tips Nick, because it's always fun seeing him walking around Long Beach, which is where we used to be and where I used to work. And Zoe Two Dots, because she's adorable and in Australia. And she always has the information early because she's in Australia. So it's always a lot of fun. So yes, Pokemon Go. But the other one that you probably think we're going to talk about is OnlyFans, because of course we have to talk about OnlyFans. WTF OnlyFans. I'm just going to pull up this article real quick and we're going to go through it. OnlyFans. What are you doing? Here's their tweet. Thank you to everyone for making your voices heard. We have secured assurances necessary to support our diverse creator community and have suspended the planned October 1st policy change. OnlyFans stands for inclusion, I mean, but not if our money's on the line, because we were going to change that policy right fucking quick, and then we decided not to. Sorry, that was just interjection. OnlyFans stands for inclusion, and we will continue to provide a home for all creators. Look, here's the thing. The worst thing to do is to like trigger the apocalypse and then be like, wait, just kidding. I wonder how many people who subscribe to various OnlyFans creators jumped off the platform when they heard this. They're like, oh, there's not going to be any more content. Cancel. Like, how quickly did people cancel their OnlyFans? Did OnlyFans see an immediate hit to their business? An immediate hit to their business, not just a like, oh, the creators are pissed, but an immediate hit. Because I imagine that the assurances are not the only thing that factored in here. Like, don't you think people were like, cancel. And I'm sure that hurt the creators too, the uncertainty that was created. So I think it's kind of a dick move, not to be punny. I'm not trying to be punny. I think it was a dick move to announce this change without talking to your top creators. Reach out to your top creators and be like, hey, we need to talk about this. What do you guys think? Then reach out to your banking platforms. Then figure, if it was fixable inside of a week, couldn't you have had that conversation sooner? You fixed it in like days. Why couldn't you have just had that conversation before you made the announcement and like jostled everything up? Poorly done, OnlyFans. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of your creators don't feel confident in the platform going forward, because how do you feel confident when they're like, we're going to pull the rug out from you? Just kidding. Adriana, hi, Emily. Glad to catch a live. Getting ready to move tomorrow, and this is helping calm your anxiety. Good. We're going to talk about rich people shit. We're going to just talk about rich people problems soon, and probably just make some fun. Just make some fun. We're going to make some fun. I finally caught a live. Yes, hi from New Zealand. Hi for the first time. What we need to do is go on and have everybody who is here for the first time plop a 1 in the chat, because I would love to see those of you that are catching us live for the very first time on this hot and steamy Friday night here in Middle Tennessee. Emily, you're so relatable and genuine. Don't change. It's just Robbie. I don't think I can change at this point. Like, I'm old and kind of set in my way. I will always try to learn and do better, but the general programming is it's just what it is at this point, and that's what it is. You have not missed Erika Talk. We are getting there. Leslie said, I'm in lockdown again with the 5 km limit already. Struggle with Pokestops without extra silliness. Exactly. The extra silliness made it very, very difficult. Sorry, Emily is coming up the Gulf and it ain't breaking up. I mean, I can hope for things. I am not a weather expert. We can just hope. But a category 3 is a hunker down and have a hurricane party. 9 months from now, some babies will be born. Great. Yay, hurricane babies. Will they all be named Ida? Look at all of you new Lawnards. Thank you. All right. After this, we're going to get into our topics, because we have so much stuff to do. You guys, don't forget to like the stream, subscribe to the channel if you are not already. If you're trying to comment and you can't, it might be because you're not subscribed. So try that. It should fix it. Thank you. All right, everybody. We're going to do one more and then we're going to move on. Kevin Kimball F's in the chat, just spelled half of my venti pumpkin cream cold brew all over. No, just spilled your venti pumpkin cream cold brew all over the living room. It's better than spilling it on your beloved keyboard. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you know the drama. This is my 3rd one, because the 2 I got were warped and like rocked back and forth when I was typing, and it made me crazy. So I have had nothing but keyboard drama since I spilled whiskey on my keyboard trying to record episode 100 of the podcast, because when I record with Brian, like my setup is like set up for me. So trying to record with another person is challenging for the microphone. It's challenging with the camera. It's challenging to get like my booty over under the desk so that he actually has room to sit, because I'm so used to just being like all of my space. And in trying to do that, I knocked whiskey all over my keyboard. I put the pictures on Instagram. I talked about it in the episode. It was, and then trying to find a replacement for my beloved keyboard, which everything else slowed me down. I'm like, I don't have time, and like literally don't have the patience for another keyboard with like this week was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. So I am going to be getting a dual microphone setup so that we can do more content with Dr. B. You guys were like, yes, please. Fred and George got booted this evening for misbehavior. They are outside with my youngest. My oldest just went to camp, so they are outside. All right. I am going to get to content. Tia says we need to do the Bing. Do we need to, should we take a poll? Do we need to do the Bing even though it's after the fact? The members got a little bit of a Bing last night. Tech, will you take a poll? Should we do a Bing even though it's after the fact for 150K? I feel like that's the least we can do. Okay, top secret, because there's like only 3,000 of us here and it's totally cool. We're among friends. We are going to be doing a 150K celebration live stream with some giveaways. And I am very excited about it. So I will keep you posted on which one is going to be a giveaway stream so that you can plan to be here live, because we are going to do it. Everybody's like, Bing it, Bing it, Bing it. Okay, we'll just Bing it. I'm like, Tech, put up a poll. And then I'm like, whatever. You guys all put it in the chat. Like, girl, we can't keep up. Stop changing your mind. It's fine. The chat just flooded. All right, we're going to Bing it anyway. We'll Bing it. We'll Bing it. Tech's like, the poll's up. And I'm like, yeah, but okay. The poll will be for me to internalize that y'all like it, even if it's binged when we're not live, that y'all are ready for the Bing. So we'll make it Bing. All right, we'll just do it. Why not? Why not? Why not? Oh, it binged. Move your head. Ah! It binged. And I'm kind of blown away still. I'm kind of blown away still by the fact that we hit 100K in May and we are here at 150K. It's just amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the other stuff. A lot of you asked me about the Megan Thee Stallion stuff that was going on with her record label. I am going to talk about record label stuff because there's also stuff coming out with Kesha. I'm going to try to put those stories together and talk about them. Totally different types of stories, but record labels, and put them into Tuesday's episode when I do kind of the quick bits on Tuesday. So it has resolved. I mean, it resolved quickly, but if you guys want me to break down like why this played out legally, we absolutely will. And there's been past issues. I was looking at some of the older lawsuits she's had with her label, and I was like, oh no, this is more than just this. This is a lot, it seems, of her and her label butting heads. So I didn't want to cover it without looking at kind of the back history of her and her label, because I didn't know that there was other issues that kept going on. So that is what we are going to do with that story. Because I was going to try to cover it, but then I started redacting these documents, and you'll see why in just a second. I didn't feel right. All of these documents have a lot of people's addresses on them, and yes, it's public record, but also I'm like, God, I don't want to, like, it's not these people's fault that they're part of this. This most of them are part of this because something has been done to them, and it's just all their addresses. And I understand why it has to be for the court record, but it was a lot. So I was like, no, we're going to take the time to redact everything. So Tech, we're going to put up another poll. And I'm going to chat with the chat for a second. We're going to put up another poll. Do you guys want to hear about the $100 million financials, or the shady amended complaint trying to fillet Erika Jayne. Which one do you want to hear about first? $100 million, allegations and shade. You let me know on the poll, and we will talk in just a second. You and Dr. B should have a show called Drunk Drama. Yeah, we joked about it in episode 100 that we might do like drunk internet history or drunk internet drama, but drunk drama is kind of a great name because I was like, oh, okay, the reason he's like, I need a flow chart is because we didn't go back far enough. So we need to go back further and do Dramageddon, or at least Dramageddon 2, by Sister. Like, we need to go back through that stuff and have him react to some of those apology videos. So I think that that's going to need to happen. And I appreciate the input. It was fun. Does the counter have a name yet? If not, I would like to bring a motion to call the counter Chandler Bing. I don't have a gavel. They're back there. JC motion granted. Chandler Bing. It's better than Chenandler Bong, but Chandler Bing. I think that is a fantastic name for the timer. I like it. I like it. I like it. Yeah, I mean, I think we might actually get to 200K by the end of the year. That's kind of become a low-key goal of mine. And I always feel weird putting those kind of goals out there because I have no control if people subscribe or not. I make the content I make. I talk about the shit that I talk about. I talk to you guys on social about the shit you want to know about and try to keep up with stuff as it goes down to the best of my ability. So, I can't control it. So it feels weird setting a goal of something I can't control, but I'm going to be like, yeah, we'll hit 200K by the end of the year. That's the goal. And that will just keep clipping away at it and just keep making the content we want to make. You guys are like, shade. Kempire is like, all of it's shady. It's good to see you, Kempire. Yes, everything we're talking about tonight, by the way, is shady. But the financial documents aren't shady, but they're just like, well, Cricket, you just pick which one goes first. We're going to talk about both of them. It's not like one of them is going to get left out. We're going to talk about both. Should we close? Oh my God, you guys left so many comments. Fish fillet, Erika, complaint, shady, shade, 100 million, shade. Let's close the poll and see what you guys wanted to talk about because you guys left a ton. Can I share my Saskatchewan story today? I don't know about that. That maybe. I don't know about that. Oh, Erika, we've talked about this lawsuit. This is the amended complaint to that lawsuit. So that's exactly what it is. Welcome. The shade is real. Can you explain why Erika gets the lottery payments? I will when we get to the amended complaint. I actually researched that today and like fell down a rabbit hole. Allegations and shade, 64% of you, and 100 million financials second. All right, allegations and shade it is. Allegations and shade. So for the members who were on the members only stream last night, we went through this more line by line. Tonight, we are going to go over the main allegations. We're going to go over the new information. There is another video up on the channel and on. I remind me, everyone. It's hard to drink. It's hard to drink White Claw and talk a lot. It's much easier at concerts. Not that I've been to one in forever, but that's coming. So I have covered the other complaint, and this is kind of a rewritten version of that complaint with more information and exhibits. The receipts. So we're going to spend a little bit more time on the receipts, some of the shade, and then we'll get to the $100 million. All right. There's shade for everybody. And if you saw the other one, you saw me go through the different charges and the first amended complaint. Or the first complaint. This is the amended complaint. I have thoughts. I know the carbonation is dangerous. It's a hot night and it was like, it's light and crisp. And, we can't drink whiskey every night because then I'll just be giggling. I should just do whiskey only. It was fine. The Nirvana reel was so good. Thank you, Kempire. I really appreciate it. It means a ton. Let's go. Let's just go. Mooney is saying that they sent a super chat. Did I miss it? Call me Al. Don't drink and drama. I love that too, but it's like, do drink and drama. Don't drink and drama. I love it. Thank you. And I missed one. I'm going to try to get to it right quick. Let's see where I missed it. When I get into the topics, I tend to focus on the documents and then come back and try to catch it. So thank you, Emily. Always buy a backup. You have 3 kids. The husband's the biggest kid. Yes, I should have bought a backup keyboard. I absolutely should have. And now I have a backup. I have a backup for my backup. All right, y'all. We will be back. We will be back. We will be back. Let's get into this lawsuit, and then I will be back with you, chat, when we are done with this amended complaint. I should swoop. This is the first amended complaint suing Erika Girardi inside the bankruptcy court. And y'all are like, how does that even work? So it's kind of like a regular lawsuit, but kind of not like a regular lawsuit because it's inside the bankruptcy proceedings. And that's why the header box, because you guys have seen plenty of lawsuits now because we talked about enough of them. Inside the header box, it has both things. It has Girardi Keese, the debtor, that's Tom Girardi's law firm. And then it has the plaintiff, the person suing, is the bankruptcy trustee. So technically, the bankruptcy trustee is suing on behalf of the debtor. So it's kind of like Tom Girardi's law firm is suing his estranged wife. That's kind of what it's like. But it's inside the bankruptcy court. There can be a trial inside the bankruptcy court. There can be lawsuits inside the bankruptcy court to try to get back the funds that the trustee believes that are owed to the debtor. So the job of the trustee is to find all of the money that could possibly be owed to the law firm, outstanding legal fees, loans, things like that, and to bring it back into the law firm and then distribute it out to the creditors under the bankruptcy schedule. So there's a bunch of rules about who gets paid, in what order of priority. And the goal of the trustee is to bring back all of the money that they can to pay the creditors. That is their goal, which is why we're seeing this lawsuit. They think that Erika Girardi has some money. They would sure like to get it back and pay it to the creditors. So they are suing Erika Girardi as an individual, EJ Global LLC, a company, and the Pretty Mess Inc. They are suing for 10. Oh, wait, no, they're not. There's like 15. They just didn't update the header. So there's more causes of action. They added more causes of action. There were 10 in the first complaint and in the original complaint. And now in the first amended complaint, they've added a number of claims and causes of action. And we'll get into that. Statement of jurisdiction. They have jurisdiction. We don't need to get into all of the jurisdiction. They're saying that Pretty Mess was just formed in 2021, and they think that this new Pretty Mess Inc. might have money from Girardi Keese that they can get back, which is why they're suing both EJ Global and the Pretty Mess. And the defense might fight over it. Erika's going to have to answer this at some point, like any other lawsuit. There will either be an answer or there will be a motion to dismiss or a motion over jurisdiction, but there will be continuing litigation on this, like the other lawsuits that we cover. General factual allegations. On August 12th, the court entered into an order approving a settlement agreement in Marston versus Marston State Court Opinion, San Bernardino. It's the settlement agreement is here as Exhibit A. We'll get to that when we get to the receipts. Plaintiff is bankruptcy trustee. Plaintiff is informed and believed that debtor diverted and transferred its right to receive attorney's fees, debtor being Girardi Keese, the law firm, from the court-approved settlement agreement in the form of an ongoing stream of payments from the state of California lottery to the defendants, either Erika or her companies. Once I finish the allegations with regard to the lottery payments, I will break down the lottery payments. Law 360 just did a great article on this, and we're going to go through it together once we get through this part of the complaint because they're intertwined. Plaintiff is informed and believes that the defendants received more than $242,000 in payments and are scheduled to receive another $78,000 in payments between 2022 and 2025. The payment for the year of 2021 is being held hostage being held in trust, but colloquially held hostage. Erika directly agreed to receive the payments and personally signed them. The lottery forms, they're saying this is improper. These were legal fees that should have gone directly into Girardi Keese. They shouldn't have gone to Erika Girardi. Just a side note on that, this started in 2012. Do you all think that money would still be there? Like, would that $200,000 still be there and have gone to other creditors? Because my guess is no. My guess is no at this point. But I appreciate the effort, because what you can't do is split attorney's fees with non-attorneys. And that is what some are arguing is being done here. She approved the stipulation and even withheld the 2021 payment, but the 2021 payment was given over to the bankruptcy trustee and is being held in trust. Why won't you load? All right, let's refresh this page as we get into the other article, because I don't know why that's not load. We would like for all the pages to load, please. Thank you. That's helpful. So they continue to allege that plaintiff intercepted. I mean, that's not intercepted is like, I got it. But what happened is that they knew that these payments were going to Erika. They worked with Erika's lawyers, and Erika's lawyers were like, yes, we'll put the money from 2021 into trust. So they are holding the funds, $19,000 in trust, which are the lottery payments for the year of 2021. And if the court determines this is money that should go to Girardi Keese, it goes to Girardi Keese. If the court determines this is money that is properly signed over to Erika, then this money will just go to Erika. But either way, they're holding it in trust, kind of like what's going on in the Austin McBroom suit with the Live X Live company. Live X Live is like, no, we're not paying you yet because we don't want you to spend the money and have to go try to chase it back down. We're just going to hold it here. We're not going to spend it, but we don't trust that giving it to you means it's going to get where it needs to get. And that's essentially what's happening here. They're holding it in trust. They're saying that Erika refuses to release the payment, even though she has no legal claim to the money, but they're still holding it in trust. So yeah, it shouldn't be released, because it needs to be litigated, and they're going to litigate it. I think it's trying to be framed here that Erika's just being a dick and holding on to the money, but there's a legal process here, and they're going to go through the process. And while you might feel that Erika's a dick for holding on to the money, Erika has clearly made it clear. Erika's legal strategy has been, we're fighting over this to see what we owe. And I again wonder, if it's waiting for the other shoe to drop. And so you fight where you can because you don't know where you're going to end up paying money out at the end of the day with this thing. We don't know, but she has legal rights. Those legal rights, no matter how much you like her or don't, those legal rights have to be followed. And she has a right for a court to say, yes, this money belongs back to the law firm, give it back. And that she has a right to push that through, whether the trustee likes it or not. So they're saying she has no legal claim, but that's what this lawsuit is over. They believe she doesn't. She believes she does. They say the fact that Erika has claimed that the lottery payment is her money and refuses to release it shows her knowledge and admission as to the nature of the debtor's income. First of all, no. Second of all, that's just allegations and shade right there. That's not facts. It doesn't show that she knows. It shows that she knows that in that one case, winnings were signed over. But here's what calls it into question for me. This was not just signed over to Erika. These payments were signed over in thirds. So it was signed over to 3 individuals, one being another attorney and the other one being Tom Girardi's daughter. So let's talk a little bit about this lottery case and what happened. Now, we're not going to get into the facts of that case a ton. We're going to get into the facts surrounding the payment on the case. The lottery case, you will notice, is the same last name. Is it Marston? I don't want to say it wrong and be like, see, it's the same last name. Marston versus Marston, and then have it not be. But it is. This is why I pull up documents. So if I read things wrong, you can be like, Emily, that says 14 million, not 14,000. See, you can see what I'm reading. Marston versus Marston. This case was parents and a adult child fighting over who had the rights to the lottery ticket. So this was a lottery ticket case that went to a civil lawsuit between family members over who gets the lottery ticket winnings. Now, it's very Law 360 did a great breakdown on this. Brandon, the article is written by Brandon Lowry. Is it Lowry? Lowry? We're going to go with Lowry, talking about who received it. Now, I saw this early on Twitter when there were rumblings about these lottery fund payments that they had gone to David Lira's wife, David Lira being the son-in-law, Jacqueline Lira being Tom Girardi's daughter, that they had gone to Jacqueline Lira, Erika Jayne, and this other attorney. They are redacted in the recently filed court documents, but Law 360 was like, we'll just go pull the original ones from the court. Like, that's not hard. So they did a great breakdown and actually have quotes from David Lira and others about the tea in this case. So they spoke to attorney Gerald Canopton, who said that the sharing of fees, or what looks like fees, with a non-lawyer is absolutely forbidden. It's like forbidden, by the way. They said capital F exclamation point, don't do it. This is one. The amount of things that shouldn't have been done that have been done in this case, nothing should surprise you, but you cannot share legal fees. Now, you can take in the legal fees as the law firm and then pay yourself and then be taxed on paying yourself. You can do that, but you can't split legal fees. So the fact that this was signed over, and we'll get to that receipt, but the fact that this was signed over to both the daughter, who is the wife of one of the lawyers on the case, and to Erika, is problematic in more ways than just this money should go to the law firm. It's problematic that also these fees shouldn't have been split, and that raises red flags as well. So there's two problems here. They say that Jacqueline Lira's share of the lottery money could expose her to an action by Girardi Keese Bankruptcy trustee, who's recouping Erika Girardi's portions of the funds. Jacqueline Lira's name is redacted from the publicly filed documents in the bankruptcy case. However, they went and pulled it, Law 360 did, and they said the trustee had no comment on the matter. David Lira denied wrongdoing. They talk about David Lira and reached out to him. And on Tuesday, this is what David Lira had to say about the fees. We actually have a quote from David Lira. Tom Girardi's son-in-law, who has since left the firm, is pending contempt hearings in the Lion Air case in Illinois that was filed by Edelson PC against them. There's a lot going on for David Lira in this. So put on him by his father-in-law. It is bananas stuff. Like you thought that the dynamic with like frenemies had gotten toxic with the family stuff. This is like on another level. There's less Twitter shade. There is less Twitter fighting. There is way more serious implications of professional responsibility, ethics, licensing, and of course, money. David Lira's quote to Law 360 was that the lottery case was a case I brought into the firm. He wrote in an email, I tried the case to verdict and won a multi-million-dollar verdict with punitive damages. The reason that lawyers say verdict is because this case didn't settle. This went to a jury trial. A jury decided the outcome and a verdict was awarded. In criminal cases, the judge decides the sentencing unless it's a capital case in a jurisdiction where a jury decides if capital punishment's appropriate, but that's separate. Generally, judges decide the sentence. In civil cases, juries can decide the amount of money that should be awarded. So that's why this is noted in this email. The payments assigned to my wife was my bonus for bringing the matter into the firm and successfully concluding it. This was over 9 years ago. Okay, the age of the thing doesn't matter. We want to know where the money went. Where is the money? Court documents show that the lottery assignments for Erika Girardi, Jacqueline Lira, and the other attorney amounted to 40% of the client's award in the case, which matches the client's contingency agreement. Nancy Marston, one of the former GK clients, told Law 360, I love that they tracked down the client in the case. I love that they tracked down the client in the case. Like, yes. Yes. I want to know what Nancy had to say too. Don't you all want to know what Nancy had to say about this case? Tracked down one of the former GK clients, who told Law 360 that the lottery assignments were not a bonus, but the attorney fees, essentially, for the work on her case. She said she and her husband were confused to see the names of the attorneys' wives on the settlement document, and later brought these and other concerns to another attorney to contemplate potential legal malpractice against Girardi Keese. Oh, so you know what Law 360 did? They were like, who was that attorney? Oh, hi, Daniel Crawford. We would love to know what you have to say. That attorney, Daniel Crawford, wrote a letter to David Lira. Okay, true, they could have gotten the letter from Nancy. I mean, they could have gotten the letter from Nancy. I just love the follow through on this. Wrote a letter to Lira citing the California rules of professional conduct, which say lawyers may not directly or indirectly share legal fees with non-lawyers unless the payments were made to firm employees through a profit sharing or retirement program, or to a lawyer's estate or survivors after his or her death. So if a lawyer passes away and a case has concluded, but their legal fees have not been paid yet, their beneficiary or survivor can take that fee. Or if the legal fees come into the firm and then are paid back out as part of the operating agreements of the firm. It's a lot of rules, right? And we've seen how horribly wrong it can go when those rules aren't followed. In November 2013, Lira defended the agreement in a letter to Crawford. Oh, goody. For your information, this is why people hate lawyers. Because they're just like, the emails start with, yeah, so fuck you, and then let me tell you. It's just, it all feels so snappish, right? Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just like scarred from having to deal with so many attorneys, but you let me know. Does it sound snappish or is it just my interpretation? It could just be me. For your information, no financial agreements were made with, quote, non-attorneys, he wrote. Quote, in terms of fees paid to Girardi Keese, payments going forward were made to the wife of Tom Girardi and to my wife, Jacqueline Lira. This was done for the sole purpose of estate planning. What do we mean by that? Therefore, your accusations of ethical violations are inaccurate and incorrect. On Thursday, Lira declined to explain how the funds were a bonus as opposed to attorney's fees or address the California rules that prohibit fee sharing. Yeah, because they asked again. They're like, okay, well, we know you told the other attorney that it was like totally cool, but we're so curious how that's okay. Could you just explain how that's okay? No. Declined to answer, and declined to state whether the trustee is seeking his wife's lottery payments. This is a private family financial matter, which I don't wish to debate publicly, he wrote in an email. I have no further comment. David Lira has a $150,000 claim in Girardi Keese's bankruptcy case for unpaid legal fees to him for his work that was done. In documents filed this week, the bankruptcy trustee indicated that she was disputing the wage claims filed by Lira and 69 other former Girardi Keese employees. Yeah, because the employees didn't get paid either. And the trustee is like, I have questions. We might not get there yet. And yeah. One of the firm's largest creditors, former client Kathy Rui Gomez, said that she wondered whether the lottery payments to Jacqueline Lira were pertinent to the bankruptcy case. She said, I've seen the headlines regarding Erika's checks from the lottery being stopped by the bankruptcy trustee, but I can't seem to find where they stopped Girardi's daughter's payments. Does that belong to the victims too? David Lira had also been ordered to face contempt proceedings in Chicago, and we talked about that. So family members fought over a lottery ticket. The side that won was represented by Girardi Keese. Instead of paying Girardi Keese the contingency, they paid out of the winnings that they were now getting from the California lottery and signed over their right. It's like that Adventures in Babysitting where she's looking at the guy with the hot dog and she's like, I'll just sign my part of the check over, then you can sign it back to me. They signed over what they were entitled to for attorney's fees to go to their spouses for estate planning purposes. Tax strategy purposes? I mean, we'll see, but they didn't bring it into the firm. The argument from Lira's wife and Lira will be, especially if Lira is has $150,000 that he's claiming he's owed by the firm. Lyra is going to argue, no, the attorney fees that are entitled to me weren't attorney's fees that were going into Girardi Keese. They're my attorney's fees. So these aren't attorney's fees that go back into the pot, essentially, to be redistributed to other creditors. That's not my responsibility. I was an employee. Those don't go back in. So there would be a different fight over whether David Lyra's wife, Tom Girardi's daughter, had to pay back the lottery winnings she got. It's a different positioning than with Erika Girardi. So I'm going to skip ahead in the lawsuit for just a second and show you that receipt since it's so apropos to what we are talking about. And then we'll get back into the allegations and shade and the added causes of action before we get into how rich people spend their money, which will come up next. So this is the stipulation. This was filed in court after the lawsuit. Defendant Natalie was entitled to receive 20 annual payments of $260,000 for 20 years from California lottery winnings pursuant to the government code that is in charge of that. The court hereby approves and assigns by the defendant of 100% of the gross annual amount of the California lottery winnings, less federal taxes and deductions authorized by law for the calendar year of 2020 as follows: 60% to the winners of the case, the Marstons, 13.34% to one of those is going to be Jacqueline Lyra, one of those is going to be the other attorney, 13.33% to Erika, 13.33% to the other attorney. And then they talk about going forward at what point this shifts so that it can be paid off after the first 10%, 10%, 10%, and then what the remaining structure is to pay these out and to whom. And this just goes through the entire assignment. This was stipulated and signed. The Marstons had to agree to this, which is why when she said in her quote to Law 360, hey, what's your wife's name on this? Because those are the legal fees and the wife is not the lawyer. So it very clearly seems to be legal fees. It doesn't seem to be a bonus. When they talk about how the fees are authorized, I imagine if we pull that section, we will find out how it's authorized. But why else would they be paying them if it wasn't legal fees? Because they had a contingency agreement with this client, and the contingency agreement meant that whatever the plaintiffs won or whatever the clients won, the lottery winnings in this case, that the attorneys get 40% of it. So how is this anything other than that? I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I don't think it can be. They attached another settlement of that and talk about how this is going to be released and the agreement, and that was signed by the Marstons as well. So this is the whole settlement agreement with settling up the court case. So with that, I'm going to scroll back up because that is the lottery case. That is why they are fighting over those winnings, saying none of these should have ever gone to Erika. All of these should have gone into the law firm. And if these are law firm legal fees, if these are funds that the law firm's entitled to, you need to pay them back, all of it, everything that you've received. And that needs to go back into the law firm. What should have happened is the legal fees go into the law firm and then you take a draw or you pay yourself out or what have you. That's not what's done here. I imagine the bankruptcy trustee is going to say it was for tax avoidance purposes, because we start seeing some of those allegations in this complaint. Estate planning, either way, it came in from somewhere. Somebody has to pay taxes on it. I wonder where it was accounted for. They're going to get all the taxes, so they will see. But it should have gone into the law firm first and then been doled back out. So let us get back to where we were. Either way, I think it's an overbroad statement in this lawsuit to say that Erika knows and admits to the nature of all of debtors' income and operation based on this. I don't know if maybe she would have been like, why are these going directly to me? And the answer from David Lyra was estate planning purposes. I can imagine a world where Tom Girardi looked at her and went, for estate planning purposes, why are you asking me? So I think it's a bit of a reach. personal opinion. You let me know in the chat and in the comments if you think it's a reach. Let's continue on, shall we? They say that as discovery is taken, the trustee will outline the specific luxury items that were received in kind, and that Erika is aware of the $25 million plus in expenses paid for her, and she's in the best position to itemize jewelry, clothes, and personal property. Erika, go make a list. Make a list of what's in your closet. So this is alleging, or lawsuits are allegations and shade. This is saying that not what Sutton is arguing on the show, that how did you not know that all this money just plopped into your LLC? This is saying the money from the law firm was paying for other shit for Erika. Not shit the firm should have been paying for, other shit on her benefit. There was not just cash going into her bank account. It was spending on the credit card, directly paying choreographers, vendors, makeup artists. There's a list. We'll go through the list. Bravo Docket on Instagram went through and investigated some of the names on the list. So if you don't follow them on Instagram, other lawyers that are fantastic, that cover Bravo specific shit, but they went through and internet sleuthed the names on the list so you can follow them on Instagram and see that breakdown as well. We love sharing the lawyer love on this channel, and their Instagram channel and podcast is really a lot of fun. They go on to say that they believe, look, allegations and shade. This one's all allegations and shade. That debtor and defendant conspired to conceal transfers and keep these assets away from debtors' creditors. The IRS can also be a creditor. They go on to say that based on Girardi Keese's books, records, and tax returns, debtor is owed, Girardi Keese, the law firm, is owed no less than $25,592,261.26. So, if that's true, if the law firm was improperly paying that, this might be why Erika is going to fight over lawyer speculation. This might be why Erika is choosing to fight over the money. Why fight over the money? Because you are going to need the money to deal with this, right? If this is proven to be true, and these were not for the law firm, that these were Erika Jayne or Erika Girardi expenditures, glam, clothes, and we'll get into what these expenditures are, expensive, whatever it is, the law firm shouldn't have been paying that. And then it's a fight over if they can get it back or not. They say specifically the receivables have been identified as no less than, okay, look, it says it, we need to say it again immediately, as no less than 25 million. Yes, we know. In payments made by debtor for charges made by defendants. Again, this isn't cash going into a bank account. This is payments made on their behalf. You can't do that. The law firm can't just pay the bills of her other business. It has to be paid out to them personally, then it would be taxed to them personally, and then they would pay it. Or it would need to be invested. It's not just paying off the credit cards and paying vendors. There are proper ways to do this. And then there's this. Even if it was done properly, even if the transfers were done like a loan in a more clean way, she would still owe it. I'm not saying she wouldn't, but if they thought this was legit, there's another legit way to do this, to say the law firm's investing into EJ Global and the investment is $5 million this year, $5 million that year, $5 million the other year. And then you note it that way. It's not just like, oh, we pay the credit cards here. So I keep moving my mic and I keep not knowing if I like where it is. So hopefully I don't sound like I'm screaming, and I'm just going to keep messing with it because I moved my chair today and now everything's a mess. You know what it's like. All right, we're professionals. Let's get back to the lawsuit. Back to the allegations and shade, everybody. The payments by the debtor, Girardi Keese, were exclusively for the benefit of Erika and her companies. The expenses consist largely of expenses. I do not love the way this is written. I'm just going to be honest. The expenses consist largely of the expenses. Okay. The expenses consist largely of items to promote Erika personally. Moreover, the over 14 million in American Express charges were made by Erika on a card issued to her. And I'm curious because they say for the benefit of EJ Global. I'm still curious if this card was issued to EJ Global or if this card was issued to Erika. So I still have a question about that. What did it say on the card? I want to know, did it say Erika Girardi or did it say EJ Global? Because the breakdown that we'll get to says for the benefit of EJ Global and identifies all the American Express payments, which indicates to me that that card might have said EJ Global. And that would be very interesting to know. But again, this is a point of curiosity. It's not answered in these documents clearly, but maybe in the future we will see it. So moving on. The other 11 million or so in vendor payments were made for defendant Erika's benefit only. None of the payments appear to be legitimate law firm payments, but for the sole benefit. None of the payments appear to be legitimate law firm payments, but for the sole benefit of defendant Erika's massive spending, glam squad, talent professionals, image professionals, travel clothes, purses, shoes, jewelry, and other lavish expenses that were meticulously added to the debtor's books as a valid and enforcement open book account and account stated and receivable. I want to punch that sentence. I want to punch it and make commas fall. Maybe a few more periods. We're gonna move on past that one. Y'all just parse that as you will. It says glam. Yay, glam. Then they start arguing in the complaint against their perception of what her defenses might be. This could just wait. But I really get the sense that the trustee and special counsel want to just sling the mud here a little bit. That's what it feels like to me, because these are trying to end route her defenses. And I don't know if that's because the conversations with Erika's legal team have gotten contentious, because some of these are things that you would have a conversation on the phone about and be like, look, you might have this defense and this defense, but also we're going to argue this and this to try to work through settlement without going to a full ass jury trial inside this bankruptcy. But it's just all in here instead. So okay. They contend that Erika received the complete benefit of the receivables. I mean, fair. I'm fair. We should have just stopped. Period. And does not get any sort of immunity or windfall from the debtor's tax fraud for her community property law firm and entertainment business. This is a conversation you have with the other lawyer. Erika received the complete benefit of the receivables. Period. She used it. She used the glam. She did the shit. Good. Move on. But no. Just let's be Dorit for a minute and beat this dead horse a little bit more, shall we? Plaintiff will contend it will not be a defense. Plaintiff is currently contending that it is not a defense, but okay. It will not be a defense to this complaint simply because defendant Erika contends she did not know her husband was maintaining a debt. That's what that says. It would be a miscarriage of justice. This is an argument for the jury. This is not for the complaint. It would be a miscarriage of justice, Your Honor, if defendant Erika was allowed to simply walk completely free of owing over $25 million to the estate. Do you hear it? This is an argument. Argument does not belong in the complaint. It's just, that's all just argument. I mean, we get to all talk about it, but also argument. And not even veiled as facts, just straight up argument. Erika signed all of her tax returns, numerous credit card slips, and was well aware of the money she spent. I mean, none of us think that Erika like slipped into a coma and was spending money. Nobody is saying that she like blacked out and spent $14 million on an Amex. We have, how many seasons has she been on Kempire? How many seasons has she been on Housewives now? How many seasons has she been on Housewives now? We've seen season after season after season of her consciously and willfully spending. That's not the argument here. The argument here is not that she didn't know she was spending money. She knew she was spending money. It's just, did she know that she wasn't entitled to the money? And we don't have the answer to that yet. She knew she was spending it. She was well aware of the money she spent. No shit. Her feigned willful blindness. This whole argument. Your Honor, it would be a miscarriage of justice. We're going to skip that. Her feigned willful blindness and ostrich approach to these expenditures will do absolutely nothing to limit her liability. Look, if she spent money, it wasn't hers. She knew she spent it. But the argument doesn't all need to be in this complaint. Okay. Okay. Erika has direct knowledge. Okay. Again, these are allegations and shade. I don't know how you prove at this point she has direct knowledge. No, actually, this sentence is fair. She has direct knowledge for that the last 12 years, all of her expenses were being paid by debtor and that she was generating them. Yes, agreed. She knew, well, I don't know if she knew that the law firm was paying all of her expenses. I don't know. I know she knew somebody was paying the card, but I don't know if she knew that the law firm was paying all of the expenses. She clearly knew Tom was paying all the expenses, and the law firm's a sole proprietorship. So I don't even think in her brain, speculation, but I don't know if much of this behavior would have triggered her to go, that's weird. Super rich old dude husband pays for her to do shit. I mean, you see the news. He wins billion-dollar settlements. The sheriff's like, hey, homie, what's up? I don't know if she would have thought that there was anything wrong with this. You have all this money. Everyone thinks that you're amazing. I spend the money. It's all good. I don't know. Anyway, moreover, it goes on, Erika has repeatedly contended it's expensive to be me. Okay. Also, it's not, she spells it differently in the song, which was pointed out last night by one of our lovely members here on the channel. And yes, this is not, it's shade. It's shade. We also try to have a moment here with the glam cannot be supported by a sham. Okay. But it was for all this time. I just don't know if that means that she knew it. But yes, if the glove does not fit, if the glam does not fit. But this, again, is all argument. This decade-long spending spree, again, I don't think it was a decade-long spending spree. This was just her lifestyle. This decade-long lifestyle of extravagance, which again, if your husband is getting 40% of $1 billion, it just seems like you have money forever. This decade-long spending spree was improperly paid for by Erika's community property law firm. Erika has repeatedly contended that she's entitled to any leftover money from this estate. Yes. She has signed years of joint tax returns. Yes. Even though knowledge is not required for liability. Accurate. So why? Oh, to just back the bus up some more. It's alleged that she knew exactly where the money was coming from when her $175,000 per month spending budget was paid each month by the law firm on the law firm credit cards issued to her personally, as well as the submissions for payment were made by her and her alone. I still have questions about it. So were the credit cards just in her name then? Did it just say Erika Girardi and it was an Amex? Or did it say, like business cards will generally say your name and then the name of the business? I want to know. I want to know if it said Erika Girardi Keese then yeah, she knew that was a law firm card, and any reasonable person who understands business, even in the minimum, would know that that is a business card and not a personal card. If the AMX just said Erika Girardi, then there's a different argument there. I will be very interested to see how that plays out. I have questions. And it will matter very much to me what that credit card looked like as it pertains to what Erika knew. That's all. She still spent it. She still shouldn't have. But as it pertained to what she knew and how ostrichy the ostriching was, how that credit card was, will matter. But it does say law firm credit cards issued to her personally, indicating this probably was made to Erika Girardi and was a law firm card. But again, I have a business AMX. I don't think it has my LLC name on it. I'm going to have to look. It might. Now I'm curious. I will have to look. But generally business cards will say the business name on it because they're in the business name. But again, Tom was a sole proprietorship. So if he wasn't doing those cards under his EIN, I have so many questions about these cards. We'll get back to the shade. I have like practical questions of how this all went down, but I think it will all come to light in the time that we go as we move forward. They say that Erika directed all of her personal vendors to be paid by the law firm. And if that's true, if she was submitting this to the law firm as expenses, like, oh, bill it to my husband, then we absolutely have more of an idea that she knew the law firm was paying, not her husband. So if she's just like handing them to him over the kitchen table, it's different. If she's sending them into the law firm, it's different. But her argument also might be, he lived at the law firm. He just told me to send him everything there and that he was taking care of it. I didn't think the law firm was actually paying it. He just did everything there. He paid all the bills there. I just assumed he paid the business bills and then paid the personal bills, and he just handled it. So I think there's arguments on both sides. They say that only Erika knew that her entire singing, acting, bling brand, glam squad, and other Erika-only expenses were completely funded by debtor. Even to this today, I mean, I can't with this sentence. Even to this today, it is alleged that Erika continues to receive funding from other sources of unknown origin to cover her extravagant lifestyle. Again, shade. Just the shade. That's just pure allegations and shade. That is just all the allegations and shade. Where's she getting the money from? Erika shows no sign of slowing down with the continued tax frauds, which she benefited from for years. I mean, that is a strong allegation. That is a very strong and hefty allegation in this. And I don't know if this complaint supports that she is still perpetrating tax fraud. But that is a whole lot of accusation. It continues. The tax frauds which she benefited from for years, income tax avoidance schemes referenced in this complaint, and the belief, they know what she believes, and the belief that she can just hide large sources of income under the banner of privacy. Well, the current sources of income are going to come forward, because if she's paying it out of funds that could have come from the law firm, it's going to be a problem. If she has a wealthy benefactor, then the bankruptcy can't get their hands on that because it's not money that should go back to Girardi Keese. Erika has refused to disclose who or how she is getting access to large swaths of capital to finance frivolous legal activities and threatening letters to trustees' special litigation counsel. This I'm very curious about. Where are the threatening? Can we have those as exhibits? I mean, they're totally not relevant, but I'm just curious. I just want to know. Threatening letters. Notwithstanding the court's findings and exclusions of any proffered evidence, Erika continues to file frivolous appeals and takes meritless positions, all geared towards hindering the trustee's investigation. Look, I can abide this shade, because the court did rail Erika's lawyers over the second motion to exclude Ron Richards. The court was like, literally, WTF is this? Get out. Get out. I don't want to hear it again. Get out. The court had very strong words for Erika's lawyers. So while the blatant accusation of tax evasion makes me cringe a bit, I can abide this shade because the court did yell at Erika's lawyers in the court's own way. With all due respect, counsel, WTF is this? This has absolutely no merit. I think the court said absolutely meritless. So this shade is substantiated. Erika believes she is above the law and is entitled to, again, we don't know what she believes. These are conclusory statements. These are just now for the audience, is my speculation. Erika believes she's above the law and is entitled to shield and conceal her sources of capital from the trustees' special litigation counsel, notwithstanding that they are not privileged. Her reckless and shotgun approach to litigation are all consistent with her husband's menacing and threatening litigation style. I mean, I can abide all of that shade. Look, they personally went after Ron Richards. They went after him multiple times. The gloves are off. When I say civil litigation is not civil, y'all are going to see it in this. Yeah, this is going to be like Brown and Salts. But the writing's not as clever. We have not had our monuments to the gods of speculations moment yet. Maybe we will. But the gloves are off with these attorneys. And it's just that and we'll see why in just a moment. I highlighted it in yellow. Erika directed her counsel at least 5 times. Again, I don't know how they know that she directed her counsel 5 times, but either way. On August 25th, to threaten the trustees' special litigation counsel with Rule 11 sanctions if he did not drop most of the trustees' complaint. Now, do they mean the amended complaint or did they mean this complaint? Because I wonder if Evan Borges was like, Richards, you're accusing her of tax evasion. Really? That's what we're doing? Okay. I wonder how this went. All of Erika's threats only prove her direct involvement. No, it proves that all the attorneys are pissed at each other. And think it's funny, maybe. Only prove her direct involvement in the litigation and her desperate attempts to try and intimidate her opponents with a chronic stream of motions to disrupt the investigation and the trustees' counsel of choice, or choice of counsel. Then they get into receivables from an open book account. This sentence it's just impossible to parse. They say that the book account is based upon a contract that is implied by the parties' conduct, business records, Excel spreadsheets, and other writings. Plaintiff alleges the book account had entries and were added to it from time to time. I can't. The last entry for the receivables was as recent as June 2020. Interest is accruing at 10% per year for the receivables. We are charging you interest. Pay us. And then they get into the law talking about the accruance of interest. Plaintiff is informed and believes that although a demand has been made, none of the receivables owed by Erika and her companies have been repaid and remained outstanding. These are all the exhibits with regard to it. They say that Erika is 100% the owner of Erika Jayne Global, or EJ Global. Erika claimed $2.1 million in expenses for her own company, but which were paid for by debtor. I think this is where they are finding a basis to allege tax impropriety, because what is alleged in this sentence is that in 2018, Erika claimed $2.1 million in expenses that were paid by her company, but Girardi Keese paid them. But Girardi Keese isn't a company, it's a sole proprietorship, which makes it a little bit convoluted. But I think this is the minimum basis of where they are trying to say, look, she's claiming she paid these expenses. but the money didn't come from her company. And that you cannot do. The expenses are detailed on Statement 8 of Schedule C to show that debtor paid for the professionals that created and maintained the brand of Erika Jayne and benefited only Erika. A whopping $1.466 million was paid for production and $580,000 in professional services in 2018. Erika signed the tax returns. Erika's charged with knowledge of the contents of the return. The expenses benefited her brand and career. And then we get into the different causes of action. Linda makes an excellent point. I think the IRS entered the chat on this in like January. Because there's somebody at the IRS that is like, ooh, more housewives. And is looking into this. Look, the TV show roped the Judices into all of this because of the way they behaved on the show. This is if it didn't start before that, based on things that were seen on the show. But yes, the IRS, you know that the IRS and the California Franchise Tax Board have absolutely already entered the chat. First claim of relief, declaratory relief. We went through these when I did the first complaint, so we're not going to get through all of them. Declaratory relief. Your Honor, declare it belongs to us. Turnover of property, give it to us. Third claim, turnover of property, the rest of it, give that to us too. The $25 million. This is the lottery payments. Avoidance of fraudulent transfer, don't spend it. Avoidance of fraudulent transfer, continuing. Sixth claim, avoidance of fraudulent transfer. Seventh claim, avoidance of fraudulent transfer. Eighth claim, recovery of avoidance transfer. Ninth claim, conversion. The shit that you have was supposed to be ours and you made it yours. Give it back. 10th cause of relief, constructive trust, that it should be put into a trust so that it can be redistributed. 11th claim, account stated. These are claims that are some of them specific to bankruptcy and that are new claims. So starting with 11, these are new claims. Account stated, plaintiff is informed and believes that within the last 4 years, an account was stated in writing between debtor and defendant, wherein it alleges that defendants were indebted to debtor for the receivables. The receivables owed are the $25 million. So they want to find all of that. Open book account. We need to find the monies. There's an open book account for the money due within the last 4 years. Not all the receivables have been paid, although demand has been made and are now due, owing, and unpaid. So they're following the statutory basis of what they have to do. They've demanded it. They want payment for it. They haven't gotten it. Money had and received. Again, the $25 million. Unjust enrichment. That shit wasn't yours and you spent it. So therefore, you were enriched unjustly. And in accounting, we need to see all of your shit too. And then the different claims for relief, which are statutory in nature, but kind of follow the causes of action because they're just trying to get back the money. Let's go into the exhibits. We've already seen Exhibit A. This is the wonky lottery winnings that were signed over that seemed like it was attorney's fees to me. I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me that it wasn't. Exhibit B is a letter between Evan Borges and Ron Richards from June 28th with regard to the $19,000 that they are holding in trust of the lottery fund winnings from 2021. That shit happened. You're wrecking my flow here, computer. Thank you for loading. June 10th, demand for reimbursement. Now look, we saw mention of this letter in page 6, I believe, when we talked about it Tuesday. Demand for reimbursement and assignment of lottery payments. Hey, you need to give that back. You are not entitled to that. Give it back. This is the California Lottery payee setup that is signed over with the California Lottery, signed by, it seems to be Erika. This one is notarized by the same notary, I will note, that has signed all the other things. It seems that Girardi Keese has one notary that they work with very regularly. And this one's actually notarized June 26, 2012, that Erika, nay Girardi, nay, is I don't know why her middle name's Nay. I don't know why I think it's funny. I just it once again, knights who say knee. It's like knee or not applicable, but it's not, but it's Nay. I don't know. It tickles me for some unknown reason. This is actually showing that it was signed over and signed to the California lottery, setting her up as the payee. August 2nd, 2012, on the Girardi Keese letterhead, I'm enclosed a copy with the stipulation of order authorizing the California lottery to distribute lottery winnings. This is from the law firm. Hey, lottery, give us the money. This is a letter from August 18th, 2021. Oh, no, this is the one we saw made mention of in page 6. As you know, our office is special counsel. Yes, they're well aware. They are well aware at this point with the amount of litigation that's gone back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth. Joni, yes. Please consider this the formal demand for payment of the receivables in favor of Girardi Keese against EJ Global LLC and Erika Girardi in the amount of $25,592,261.26. The open book account has been entered and maintained each year since 2008. The last entry was June 2020. Interest is accruing at 10% per year. What's 10% of 25.5 million? Chat. Let a girl know. I have attached a breakdown of the figure to the penny. We love a breakdown. We love a chart. We love facts. We love a receipt. Snaps for a breakdown to the penny. Look, there's some shade I can abide. I can abide that shade. These charges were all for the benefit of Erika and EJ Global, which was 100% owned by Erika. The charges were made by Erika, were exclusively for her benefit. Accurate. I don't think any of those were not. Her LLC was filed on her personal return for many years as a Schedule C, which means that she was filing it as her company on hers. So let's see. For the sake of this letter, we're presuming that Mr. Girardi accurately represented her receivables to the IRS. That is the kind of shade I love. This I'm here for. For the sake of this letter, we're presuming that Mr. Girardi accurately represented her receivable to the IRS. Now, that assumption stops when we're talking about the complaint, where we assume that it is fraudulent. But here, we are assuming that she accurately represented shit to the IRS. We're also presuming that all of the charges on her personal AMX and other personal Erika Jayne, aka Erika Girardi vendors, were exclusively for her benefit. We reserve rights. Now it's time for a breakdown. Never gonna get it, never gonna get it, never gonna get it, never gonna. Sorry, it's time for a breakdown. Here's the breakdown. Summary of net payments charged to EJ Global receivable account from 2008 to 2020. All of it. All of it. All of it. American Express, $14 million. McDonald Sleznick, $1.5 million. Unknown, $1.4 million. Paradigm Management, $1.2 million. Kids Squared Inc., $800,000 plus. CAC. I'm sorry, I can't. CAC Entertainment. CAC Entertainment, $450,000. Greenberg, Tarig LLP. LLP would be a law firm, probably. $260,000. Tori Jensen Inc., $250 some odd thousand. Snare Entertainment, $200,000. Kitsonic, $200,000. Block Talent Agency, the Danica Group, DNA Inc., Jeremy Sullivan, Awestruck Productions, Jasmine Vega, Marco Bollinger Photography, MMA. Probably not like the MMA, but okay. Clear Talent Group, regional. If you guys want to know how to be famous, just like break this down and start Googling people. Be like, who do I need to be made famous? This list. These are the people you need to be made famous. These are the people. Preston Menzies. That's an unfortunate last name. I'm sorry, Preston. Immaculate Assistance Agency. Stephanie Shepard, Gerard Heller, and on and on and on. Hot Roller Inc. I actually kind of live for that name. On. Michael Nunez, Bobby Shaw Promotions, Francisco Galasso. I have no idea who that is. The name just is great. Levine Communications, Mathis Heidemans, Philip Staus, Elias Tan, Outbound Inc., Kimberly Keys, just people on people on people on people. This is what it takes, folks. This is what it takes. You want to see what goes into making a pop culture moment? Here it is. Talent agencies, though Apollo Jets is probably travel, to be fair. So Mile High Productions. I know Mile High Productions. I think music, right? On and on and on and on and on. There's more pages. Los Angeles Times Magazine, Mark Jackson. And on Hits Magazine, MDM Artists. All the way down to the penny on, look, taxes. Yay, taxes. Dunn and Company on and on. Setology. I bet they build sets. All the way down to the end with pages of people. Pages of people. The Secretary of State being at the bottom, they got $66, probably for a filing fee. So that is the list of monies. This has been redacted. It just shows that EJ Global was a Schedule C on the taxes in 2018. It showed that the company lost $1.6 million and that the company paid $2.73 million. They're alleging that came from Girardi Keese. We still have, $100 million to talk about. So we need to get to that because I had way too much fun with that and was just talking all of the time. So let's get to our other document real quick. And we're gonna take a scroll through. Why is it not sitting right there? Ugh. Lame, Emily, lame. You should have just put it in there. Oh no, did I not export it? Ugh, me, I totally didn't. Hold on, let me put the redacted one up. I thought I had. That's what it's like. I will try to do some questions as I'm exporting this, so we should talk about it. You guys are saying Mikey should be safe, right? Services rendered. The money to Mikey doesn't go back. Erika has to pay it back because it was loaned, but it's not his fault where she got the money from. He seems to be properly paid. The only time service providers would even get hit is just if they were holding money for her. So they weren't actually paid for services. They were just like a shell to hold money. And it seems that these were actual payments to actual people that should have been made. So it doesn't seem that that these were improper. The source of funds was improper, but it doesn't seem that the payments to the people were improper in any way. So they shouldn't have the money clawed back. It's going to be clawed back from Erika because that's where it went in the first place. So it shouldn't have gone there, and that's why it would be clawed back. So let me send this real quick so we can go through the redacted ones because that's helpful. I feel like Adam McIntyre with my little iPad pad, but I really didn't want people's addresses to be all up on the internet because that seems shitty to do to people. We don't, even though it's public record, you still don't just put it up on the YouTubes. We have discretion with that shit. So let's put it here, upload. Yay for technology. Question, is the State Bar investigating every attorney at Girardi Keese, Stitcher Whimsy? I don't know. I don't know, but they could be. Right now, there's the 2 contempt actions with regards to the attorneys that were involved in the Lion Air case. I'm sure that after everything that's gone down, the State Bar is taking a look at quite a lot. IRS dream sheet for unreported income. Just joking. I mean, the IRS can pull all of these documents and look at it. They absolutely can. So, and I think that they probably will. I mean, why wouldn't they? Why would they not? I just want to make sure that these are the redacted ones that popped up. And this doesn't. Something did not save right. And I am very, very frustrated about it. All right, hold on. We're going to have to do that again. Boo. We have to get to our $100 million. But it's not saving right. All right. Diva, we are trying to be a responsible creator and keep going. Ren said, I mean, was Erika compensating herself for services rendered? You can't do that in California, though. So, no. And if she was like a paralegal, then we could have that conversation. But that's not what was happening either. So, you can't just fund your business through an improper means, you know? All right. Let's make sure this is the right one. This is the one that shows all the payments that I shared on Instagram and all of the payments of the American Express to Erika's company. Wait, no. Why is this not exporting right? All right. It's trying. Technology is just getting to me tonight. Oh, questions. Question, what are the odds that Erika has or will have a new sugar daddy because the court can take their money? The court really can't take their money. The court needs to come after her money. They can support her. I mean, I guess she could ask somebody to help her pay these debts, but she has to deal with it. And if they're not fraudulent, some of those she might try to discharge in a bankruptcy down the road. So do I think Erika has somebody helping her? I really don't know. I know there are rumors. I haven't paid much attention to that, but I know that there are rumors about that. I don't know if she is the owner of a life insurance policy on Tom. I would imagine that she might be, though his ex-wives might also have life insurance policies on them because they are entitled to spousal support and stuff. So there might be multiple life insurance policies on him. I don't know if you can do that. If you can, that's possible. Then possibly, but I don't know. Dora V said an IRS forensic accountant would have a heyday with this one. I mean, they're all public records, so they can pull them just as easily as I did. Lindsay said, I remember you once saying these types of filings could be entertaining juicy. I think it was with the Edelson complaint. Why is this different? There are some much stronger allegations. I mean, the Edelson one had some pretty strong allegations too. Some of this is conclusory, but some of the Edelson stuff was conclusory that I didn't like either. They're like, this divorce is a complete sham to hide the money. I mean, that's conclusory allegations too. Some of this feels more heavy-handed to me, but that's a personal opinion. It might not feel as heavy-handed to everyone. Diva, this does not just show that Apple sucks. This shows that I suck. If anything, it shows that I suck because I thought it was all exported and it sure wasn't. So hopefully that got into the right place. Let's see. Yep. And they are uploading. So hopefully it works. And then it just is. It just is. I thought it was done. It's been a busy week, y'all. And my kid went to camp today. It's just been. Is Rinna's daughter's company listed in the expenses? Tell me what Rinna's daughter's company is, and I will tell you if it's listed. I do not know. Because I do not know what her daughter's company is. Let's find where this saved. Question. Richard said that he had investigators visit the nursing home Tom was, quote, at, and Tom wasn't there. Do you think Tom staged that? I mean, I didn't really think on it too hard. It could, I mean, yes, it's possible to stage stuff for empathy for the public. It's also possible that he was touring it to see if he wanted to move in. I mean, what media agency was that sold to? Because they would be the one I would have questions about more so than, I don't know. It could, yes, it could be sold. I don't know if it matters because Richards isn't dealing with that side of the bankruptcy. Tom moving out of his house is all being dealt with on the personal side of the bankruptcy. Richards is only hired to see if money went from the law firm to Erika. That's it. So that might have been just a point of curiosity, but that's firmly within the purview of the other side of the bankruptcy court, because the other side of the bankruptcy court is where all the personal stuff lives. And there's a different special assistant to the bankruptcy trustee over there. Question. Are they going after lottery payments his daughter received? They have not filed anything yet. Does that mean that they won't? I don't know. I don't know at all. There is a company in there called DNA. It was quite a lot of money. So there was a lot of money to a company called DNA that was in there. And I can pull that up after we go through these because we have a few more things to go through. Let's talk about the $100 million. Let's talk about it all. So the bankruptcy trustee filed the financials for the law firm. The financials for the personal side of this were filed in March. The bankruptcy trustee in the business side, the Girardi Keese side, said, "This is going to be a shit show, Your Honor." That hyperbole, it's not the exact words. This is going to take quite a long amount of time to put together. The accountings are a mess, and we see that indicated here too. And this is going to take time to put together. And we now have the first schedule of assets and liabilities in this case. So we can take a look. It is over 400 pages. We are not going through every single page. Me also, like literally an hour ago, going, we're not going through this complaint line by line, continues to go through the complaint line by line. So this is what the trustee had to say about the state of the bookkeeping. The trustee relied upon information derived from debtors' books and records that were available at the time of the preparation. Suffice it to say that debtors' accounting offices were not well maintained. Financial records, bank statements, invoices, tax returns, and other financial records, and other mail and papers were piled high on each and every flat surface in no discernible order. Much of what the trustee found upon her appointment was very dated. With the assistance of certain of the debtor's former employees and her professionals, her being the bankruptcy trustee, the trustee was able to access the debtor's accounting programs, although these too have proved to be unreliable. Although the trustee has made reasonable efforts to ensure the accuracy and completeness of the debtor's financial information where possible, inadvertent errors or omissions, as well as the discovery of conflicting, revised, or subsequent information may cause a material change to the schedules. I say all of that to say this is what they believe based on the information that they have now. There may be other information, updated information, new information, later information. The accounting is a mess. They are going to be deposing the accountant, and we will see what the accountant has to say to try to figure out some of this information. So let's get into all of this. We're just going to go through some of these line items. We don't need to go through there. They list out all of the preparation methods, which is very thorough, but for our purposes, we're just going to get us to the answers. What are the answers? Summary of assets and liabilities. Real property. So this is how much real property the law firm owns. It says unknown. The law firm had that building. I think that building has been sold. So I was confused as to why it was not on here, but okay. This is a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Total personal property, $4,130,773. This is mostly bank accounts, that a lot of which are client trust accounts that haven't been paid out yet. Creditors who have claims secured by property. In bankruptcy, there's secured claims and unsecured claims. Secured or preferred. Unsecured gets paid after and is not as easy to enforce. $49 million in claims secured by property is what they're alleging. Total claims amounts of property unsecured claims. Total claim amounts of priority unsecured claims. Sorry, I read that totally wrong, which means the unsecured claims that will come before these down here is 182,000. Total claims of non-priority unsecured claims is $51 million. Put it together, 101 million. Do you see my brain can't even? 101,007,652.46. Total liabilities. These are debts owed. There is $4 million in property, 101 million owed. Do you see why they are going so hard after every penny that they can find? Yeah. So Kim Heft said, yes, the company is called DNA Streetwear. Well, there is a DNA company listed. I don't know if it is the same one, but we can go through that. Then they go through the assets, which are different bank accounts, including client trust accounts that have not been paid out yet, and what amounts are in there. And you'll see them listed as different client trust accounts. We're not going to really go through the client trust accounts. They have 100 trust accounts for clients who are minors with 2.69 million. And it just made me sad that this has not been paid out. I don't know how long this has been there. This was the balance in December, but I'm hoping that some of these things will be able to get paid out to those who it belongs to. And that's where that 4 million number comes from. Then we get into accounts receivable, which are going to be down below. This is things that can be sold, office equipment and stuff, artwork and collectibles. They estimate 300,000 from the artwork and collectibles, almost 60,000 from office equipment. Those are all sold at auction. The auction has just ended. They talk about the cars that the law firm had. Those were turned over. Those were like let go at the very beginning. They were like, oh, these are leased. Take them back. We're done. I was surprised again that the office building didn't come up here. I don't know if the office building was owned. Oh, that might have been what it is. The office building is owned in another company. I should have remembered that because there's a lawsuit over it with his former partner. The building is owned by a different LLC, not the law firm. And it was Girardi, it was Keese, the other partner, and other individuals. And one of those lawsuits was at the beginning. I'm just remembering that now. So that's why it's not listed, because the building was owned by an investment LLC, and they are also suing him now. We remember things. Various loans receivable, 4.9 million. Various employee advances, 341,000. So they're going to go look for the advances as well. Receivables due from EJ Global, that 25 million number, with her lawyers. Receivables due from the 1150 Wilshire Partners LLC, 3.49 million. So that is the building. That's the company that owned that building. Receivables due from GL Aviation, 4 million. I think that's where they were running the planes through, was this GNL Aviation. We got into the different litigations, the different debtors. So that is, we've already talked well and thoroughly about that. We talked about the cash up above, creditors who have claims, and this gets into every creditor who has claims and when they were secured. So these are secured claims that were filed. California Attorney Lending, 6.6 million. Corporate Advisory Services, Corporation Service Company. These are a lot of legal lenders that are owed money. And this goes through every legal lender that is filed. They pulled all these UCC filings and went through them. We've seen lawsuits with a lot of these, Law Finance Group, KCC class actions. So we've talked about a lot of these before. We've talked about the Nano Bank loan before at 4.2 million. The Gomez family is here with their $11 million judgment that is secured by property against, on the personal side and the law firm side. Stillwell Madison's another lender. TSO, I haven't looked into. I would imagine they're probably the office equipment, furniture, and property. An unknown $11 million debt. They say it's an unknown debt, but RHOBH SPV LLC. Others to be notified. They list a whole bunch of people who get notice, and then a whole bunch of people that seem like they might be clients or other individuals that have claims that are owed. And we're not going through them line by line. A lot of them say nothing yet because it's being worked out, but I just want to show you how much it is of the debtors. Like this is, or the creditors, pardon, because Girardi Keese is the debtor. It is on and on and on. And this is why this thing is 400 pages long. We're only at page 52. So you kind of get the point of how many people are involved with this. Different document service companies, insurance companies, the credit cards, literally all of it, including, everyone who's filed a claim. So these are all the individuals that have filed claims saying the law firm owes them money. And it is still going. Still going. This is so much stuff. And they're not small either. Like class action administrations not listed above, $17,000. These are all of the amount of time it would have taken to try to track all of these down is absolutely substantial. So I'm going to zoom to the lower part of this document because A, I don't want to keep looking at it scroll, and B, you kind of get the point of how much that is. The rest of this document, let's see if I can just zoom out. The rest of this document has the client list, which I'm not going to go through, but there is a spreadsheet attached. I'm just going to show you how extensive it is. There's a spreadsheet attached. These are all business addresses, by the way, but there's a spreadsheet attached down below that has literally hundreds and hundreds of lines on it. So this was an extensive undertaking on behalf of the trustee. Let's get into the second one real quick. We saw the main points of that one. When you total it all up, it's over $100 million. We got the point. This starts with the same lead-in and the same methodology, and then does a separate breakdown. This is a different schedule under Form 207. Statement of Financial Affairs. This is gross revenue, and we broke this down on the personal side too. It's very interesting to me. Gross revenue in 2020 was $12 million. Gross revenue in 2019 was $31 million. Gross revenue in 2018 was $46 million. So again, this is a lot of money. I mean, but for a firm this big, I wonder if this is low. I wonder if this is low compared to what he purported to do. I just wonder if other law firms would look at this and be like, really? We would have assumed he was doing hundreds of millions a year, not 46 million a year. To y'all and me, to us, it's like, what in the fuck? But I just wonder if the perception of this will be, so maybe in the last few years, not as much was coming in as was being purported, is all. Or maybe they can't find it. That's always a possibility. That is always a possibility that this is what they have located. So these are transfers made before filing for bankruptcy. So money that went out, the different companies it went out to, Automotive Media Services, Bank of America, Bloomberg Law Client Trust, all kinds of stuff. And we will get to the kind of interesting ones. It was interesting. The Hospitality Executive Center was for rent, but I was very curious as for what. What rent in October 2020? What were they renting? What were they paying rent for in the middle of COVID in LA? What? I'm curious. And in September, again, curious. Some of these are duplicates of other things. Sanctions. This I'm looking into. This is a law firm. This is $15,000 that the law firm had to pay in sanctions in early 2020. And I am very, very curious what is underlying these sanctions. I haven't had a chance to look into it yet, but I am very, very, very curious as to what $15,000 in sanctions are. Because if there are $15,000 in sanctions, this would have also been reported to the Safe Bar. I mean, this might be too little too late in October 2020, but that's a lot of money in sanctions. Like a lot. Construction companies, and again, what are we constructing? A lot of holding companies. Let's see. Then we get into the payments of the credit cards. So these are all the payments of the credit cards. This is for 1 year before the filing of the case. So this is from June to why am I blanking? January to June. And they break down the American Express card, and they will either say payment for the benefit of Thomas Girardi. I didn't highlight those. I highlighted the EJ ones as I was going through because I wanted to see how many went to EJ. And I posted that up on Instagram, what percentage of them and how many of them went to EJ Global. But each of them that go to EJ Global, they say payment for the benefit of EJ Global. And this is pages. So all the pink is the stuff that was paid, they're saying, for her benefit. And you will see as I go through that most of these are pink. So there are just pages as we get into it. Not these are all for him, but pages of these for the benefit of EJ Global. So I believe they identified this by showing the two cards and saying, okay, this was his card, this was her card, everything spent on her card was for her benefit. And they have gone through those statements and then are just breaking out when it was paid and when the charges were made for which card for the year. So benefit of EJ, EJ, on and on. I did go through and count them myself. This started at 4.1, and then this goes all the way down, as you see the pink swirling by page. These are the American Express, just for 6 months of 2020. Just so we get a sense of the gravity and of how much highlighting I did, because I love the appreciation. I love a good look at all the highlighting we've done. We're still going. We're not done yet. Just by way of example. Yep. We're not done yet. 6 months, by the way. This is 6 months. This is not a full year, because then this was filed. We're still going. I'm not done yet. Wait, we're done. Wait, are we done? Nope, we're not done yet. Damn it. Almost done. Nope, those are sold American Express. Oh, there we are. We're done. Yay! The last one that's American Express. It starts at number 401. And the last American Express is 4.634. 634 of these entries are for the American Express for 6 months. Let's look at some of the other interesting ones. David Lira being the daughter's husband. These are all employment related. The trustee might argue that some of them are not, but they're expense reimbursements, travel reimbursements, and other things. John Girardi got paid a lot of money. Have y'all heard of John Girardi? Did y'all know he existed? He's the other brother. There's another brother. Not just the brother Robert, who is the one in charge of the conservatorship and his conservator. There's a John. And John seems to be getting $22,916.67 almost monthly in 2020 during COVID. To do what? I mean, presumably legal work, because his brother's a lawyer. I Googled things. His brother's an attorney, still active to practice, has a law firm in Palos Verdes, California, went to the same law school, practices in pharmaceutical litigation, employment, product liability, government entity liability, negligence, and class actions. Does litigation, went to the same law school, Loyola, went to Notre Dame. They're a very Catholic family, by the way. Did some big class action cases. I have not cross-listed these with the ones Tom has done. Won a lot of the similar awards that Tom won. Is the member of every professional organization. But yeah, the brother was also working with the firm, but not working with the firm. So every month, $22,916.67. There's other ones that are one-offs, but these, it's just interesting to me that, this twice in October, if they're not duplicates. The brother. These are both. Oh, so this is bi-monthly payments. Look at this. See, I highlighted a lot today. So we're also making connections real time. This is December, but this is November 13th, October 30th, October 15th. So this is 40,000+ a month going to the brother. September 30th, September 15th, October 30th, October 14th, or August 14th, July 30th. So these are bi-monthly payments of $22,000. But for what though? I mean, I don't know if these are legal fee payouts, which would be very interesting if he worked a case with them and he's paying it out. But with all of the debts, these are getting paid. It's just very, very interesting to me. And I wonder how long this went on for. And I wonder what triggered these payments. But somebody was getting paid. John Girardi was one of them. So these, these payments are coming in twice a month, every month, with some in between. So I have a lot of questions about these. I would be really curious as to whether if they worked a case together and these are legal fees, fine. But also, we see the lawsuits with Edelson PC and all of these other attorneys that are saying, I didn't get my legal fees. And yet we've got most month, it looks like over $40,000 a month going to his brother. It's curious to me. I have questions. And then Matthew Girardi is also getting paid for services. I don't know what the services are. They say relationship unknown. I didn't Google because I was curious about the brother and I was Googling about that. Because he's over 40,000 a month every month. Okay. So Matthew Girardi is also getting paid for quote unquote services. Molly Girardi is getting paid for services. Robert Keese was getting paid. These we actually know what they're about because Robert filed a lawsuit saying, but you stopped paying me. Robert was getting paid out from legal fees that he earned when he was still a partner at the law firm. And Tom, in the lawsuit that I covered, I don't know, December, Tom had said, hey, you're retiring. I will just keep paying out the legal fees that you're entitled to. And then at some point stop. And then when that stopped, he filed suit as well, right as this all tipped off. And then when that all happened, he was also one of the instigating creditors that pushed this all into the Chapter 7 bankruptcy. So, yeah. These are all to Robert Keese. And those, again, no shade on those. We know what those are for. I just don't know what the brother ones are for. The brother didn't. It could be the same thing. We just don't know. So these are all Robert Keese. They put his home address on everything. It seemed to be it looked like a home address to me. And then these are draws to Tom Girardi. The house is being sold. It's already on Redfin. So I didn't go through. There was a July 2020, there was $100,000 sale of stock. I think stock in his own company. So June, July, there were quite a few draws. May, there was another 100,000 draw. June, a $50,000 draw. And then it gets into all of the cases. These are all of the pending lawsuits from California Attorney Lending that's over the Edelson PC case. We've gone over all of these cases in some way or another, but these are all the cases where he owes or that are still pending. Yellow are closed, blue pending. And then we get to all the donations. Everybody gets a donation. These are 2019 and 2020 donations. I think there might be these are within 2 years of the filing. So 2019, but lots of donations. Beverly Hills Bars, Boy and Girl Club of America. No shade to any of these organizations that I'm sure are lovely and great. But if you're not paying your bills and you're not paying your clients, maybe the California Science Center doesn't need your money. That's all. That's my point. Catholic Big Brothers. I don't know what that is. CNOA, Constitutional Rights Foundation. So the CRF is on and on and on. All of the different things you can donate to that keeps you in good standing in the legal world. All of these. Deserving organizations, but still, if you're not paying your bills, maybe don't send, almost $100,000 to the Library of Congress or to ABOTA, but those are only 50. Except for that one, that's 2,000. So these are LA lawyers, LA Police Foundation, Los Angeles trial lawyers. There's some to his law school, to his high school, Loyola High School, Loyola Law School, the Loyola Law School Scholarship of $37,000, the Mexican American Bar Association, the National Association of Women's Judges, New York University School, the Pasadena Symphony for $50,000. Again, this is donating money like you have the money, but we're looking at all of it going, the State Bar of California, the State Bar of California. But these, to be fair, these could be bar dues with donations attached to them, because when you pay your bar dues, you can also pay donations in there. It's possible. So don't see he's paying the bar. It could be when he pays his bar dues, because this is around the time they're due by February. They're due by February. So, I mean, that would be around the right time that you pay dues every year. You can choose to donate to different aspects of the bar when you pay your dues. Yeah. On whatever VDHS work study is, lots of donations there. Villanova Prep School, Western San Bernardino Bar Association, Women's Lawyers Association, lots of donations of money that one did not have, it seems, by all of this. And then this gets into the additional bank accounts and the other company connections. So the 122 Wilshire Building Partnership is that real estate business that we talked about with the lawsuit, I believe. G&E Partners, airline, GNL Aviation. I guess that one of them's the big one and one of them is the small one when it comes to the planes. Pac-10 Partners, I've never heard of that one. Then they have the accountant listed, another accountant listed, and I believe we are at the end. Yay. Me, I want to leave tons of time for questions tonight. Also me, it's been 2 hours of going over documents. Wow. What do you guys think? Let's get to questions. I have questions. You have questions. We have questions. We should get to questions. It's so much. It's so much. SMD, yeah, the donations are all tax write-offs. They're all tax deductions. You get, I don't know what the threshold is. Not an accountant. Don't have that information at the forefront of my brain. There's a threshold of charitable donations, but yes, you do get to deduct a certain amount of charitable donations. Question: will a judge look at large business versus individual to make sure people who actually need the money get it instead of debtors who can afford the hit? JW Mama, no, there aren't value judgments made by the bankruptcy court. So need is not how the bankruptcy orders things. There is an order of priority. The secured creditors go first. The non-secured creditors don't go first. It's the Rui Gomez family that's owed over $11 million secured that. A lot of other clients didn't. Secured creditors go first. There will be clients in this that will not get their money, and that is absolutely heartbreaking. But under the way that the bankruptcy laws work, the order of priority is going to be the secured creditors first, and then it will order of priority in there. But no, they will not look at an unsecured creditor and say, oh, you're an unsecured creditor, you're an individual client, this is all bullshit, you should get paid first and pay them. That, unfortunately, is not the order bankruptcy works in, no matter how much it sucks and we hate it. Why did Bernie Madoff go to jail fast and Tom is free? I mean, we're just at the tip of the iceberg on this, so we'll see what happens. I don't know how long the Madoff stuff was going on before it was discovered. We're at the early discovery phase, and so far we're in bankruptcy. There's no criminal prosecution yet. There might be an investigation, but there is no indictment that has been unsealed and somebody's been arrested on. So we're not even in a criminal proceeding yet. So that's what it is. Can his retirement account be garnished? I would have to look. That's a fantastic question, but I worry. It doesn't seem that they have identified one from my looking at these documents. All of the accounts that seemed to have money in them that they identified in these records, it doesn't mean they won't identify something later, but the monies identified in these records all seem to be client trust accounts and then like an operating account that had a little bit. Question: can they try to go after donations and get them back? I don't think there's any procedure in bankruptcy for them to do that, because it's not the fault of the people they were donated to unless it's determined that they're fraudulent and they're like holding the money till later. Matthew seems to be his son and also a lawyer. I wouldn't be surprised. And it might be for legal fees, but they're definitely going to look at it. Question: what are bar dues? Allie C. It's your licensing fees. You have to pay. You have to pay to be a licensed attorney, and you have to pay. You have to pay. You have to pay your dues. You actually have to pay bar dues. So every year it's, I don't, 500 something for your licensing fee, and then you can donate to all different types of organizations within the state bar to help fund them, and you have to do continuing legal education and fill that out every 3 years. And there's stuff that goes into being a licensed attorney. It isn't that very specific. There's stuff you have to do, but yeah, every year you have to pay for the pleasure of maintaining your licensing in good standing. So that is what this is. How many of those orgs that got donations have a member on the California bar? No idea. I don't even the people that work for the bar, I mean, could be, but some of those things too are to be in with judges and philanthropy and to get awards. I mean, some of that is also ego stuff, and some of them might actually be things that he cares about. I really wish, like, you should care about your clients getting paid first, just my opinion, and then go from there. I'm going to try to get to some of the super chats I missed. Thank you to my lovely mods. You guys, can we get a huge thank you to the mods who have patiently put up with me running over and long, like, since I've been back. There's been so much to cover. We've just been like going and going and going and going. Mooney Magoo says, or Mooney Magoo, I said that really weird the first time. Apologies. My brain can't process, but I'm also responsibly drunk. Now in the sitting in the living room floor, folding 5 kids, unmatched socks, trying to match the stains. There's shade all over this. Yes, yes, yes. Elise Nicole said, Matt, oh, thank you. I got that one. John Baxter, just in, Pandora's Box has asked for some PTO. John, I'm living for that comment. Thank you so much. John also said, does Erika have life insurance policy for Tom? I'm sure she does. Whether they can attach that down the road, I don't know. Paul Choi, hello, said she could still live lavishly, just got to be Supercuts Glam, outlet malls, Arco Gas, and first class on the Greyhound bus now. She would get to be backwoods bougie, I believe. Because we love a good backwoods bougie moment. Brenda said, thank you. You're so amazingly talented. I don't know about that. The legal world has a sad void in it. I guess we can be thankful to get you. Thank you for all your amazing legal talk. I mean, I feel like I fulfilled my purpose here. There are lots of amazing lawyers that do amazing work for clients and love it and don't burn out doing it and think it's the best. I love getting to explain the legal shit to y'all and talk about housewives and all the things. Legal commentary is my best life. I wish I had realized earlier it was a job, but all the legal experience in court and the career that I've had helps bring perspective to all the things. Because I don't think coming out of law school doing this, I would have the same perspective, because you have to like tangibly go do the things, right? John said, if Erika spent funds and wrote them off on her taxes as business expenses, what happens then? Hashtag ugly mess. The IRS is like, we have, hi, we're the IRS. We have questions, because that's not, you have to accurately represent where the money came from. Elizabeth and Stitches, thank you for the super chat. Perfectly late, found out I deploy for NOLA at 0700 on an ambulance. So no margarita tonight, sadly. This was a great decompression, the shade and the drama. I really do. I try to tell you when they are heavy shows, but with how much heaviness is going on, I really did hope to get a little bit of decompression over here and a little bit of shade. And it's only like 2 hours and 12 minutes in. I think I got to all of the super chats. Thank you all for your support. I appreciate it. So Ashley Vincent, I mean, yes. Shouldn't ripping off your clients disqualify you from being a fan of the Trial Lawyer Hall of Fame? Yes. And I think all of the awards have stripped him when these allegations started happening. Like, the legacy has crumbled. There will be documentaries. There will be more shade. There will be lots to come of this in the years to come. We're still kind of at the tip of the iceberg, and it's one of the biggest legal scandals that I think I've ever seen. It's just shocking shit that's being alleged here, and some of it that's been proven. But also, nothing has ever played out simultaneously on reality television like this in my memory. Even when it was playing out in New Jersey, it wasn't quite the same. And we're going to see it again in Salt Lake City. And I don't know if Bravo knows that this is their new like marketing method. It's like, okay, lawsuits, criminal investigations, keep the cameras rolling while the FBI and Homeland Security roll up and arrest you. Like, I don't know if that's what it is, but it's wild to me. You guys, because it is so late, I'm going to skip COPO tonight. I love COPO and I love you. We will do COPO on Tuesday and then rule on it on Friday instead, because we just, my brain is tired. Are your brain tired? Are your brains tired too? And tomorrow I get a day with my little guy because my older one is at camp. And so he is going to come home a sweaty, stinky mess. But my youngest gets a day with us to himself. And then I get to record another podcast episode. So I have a bonus episode audio that dropped today. The bonus video will be up when we get it up. And I will let you know. If you're in the text crew, textemily.com, I will notify you. If you have your bell and your stuff on, it will be here too. And I will put it in the community tab and on Twitter and all the places. So if you follow me all the places, you'll get it. So we have a bonus episode coming up about the Nirvana lawsuit that pissed me off so much. And what else is coming up? We have members only for the top level. It's in the community tab about our Zoom call. So you will see that. And what else? We have other stuff. We have information coming soon about some exclusive content that will be living in the Law Nerds community on Patreon. Do the likey, subscribey things. We're almost at 151,000. By the time we get to the giveaway for 150K, we're gonna be past it, and I'm here for it. Let's just like and subscribe. Keep going. We'll see. We're just gonna start clawing our way towards 200K. Question: why aren't her lawyers telling her to shut up on the show? Excuse me. I've been talking a lot the last couple of days. I don't know that they haven't. We don't know what's said between her and her lawyers. Also, the show is being filmed now at the tip of the iceberg before the bankruptcy even hit. So we're still not to the bankruptcy yet on the show. That might come in the next few episodes, but we're not there yet. I think she is trying to be careful. I think the comment about the champagne flutes was flippant and probably offensive to quite a lot. I was like, oh, no, you didn't just say that. And for those of you that haven't watched this week's Housewives, she's got these super expensive Baccarat champagne flutes. And she's like, parting gift. And Kyle is like, were these snuck out in the night from the Pasadena house? And she's like, they'll probably try to come get them too, and I don't give a fuck, or come take them from me and I don't give a fuck. I was like, oh, no, you didn't. There are comments like that just, do they go to liability? No, but they don't play well. And with everything that we're seeing and all of the debtors that we're seeing, Tom Girardi did that. But I think everyone wants to see some awareness, compassion, remorse, horror, something other than they'll probably come to try to get my bougie, expensive champagne flutes, but I don't give a fuck. Champs. That's not what people want to see from Erika right now. And that's part of what's going on social media. Who do I think will be the next housewife in legal trouble? I mean, I know haven't they been looking into poor Mary? Well, I shouldn't say poor. There's allegations with regard to Mary from Salt Lake City, but I don't know. I would have never have guessed that Jen Shaw would be in this federal indictment. It's hard. It's hard. Even if there is money hidden, it's not money laundering though, correct? Since the money was not earned from crimes, so it doesn't have to be cleaned. Well, embezzlement from your clients is a crime. So I can't say that all this money wasn't coming from crimes, because Tax evasion also a crime. So I can't say 100% because I don't know everything that's going on, that might not come up down the road. I am not certain that won't come up down the road. If money is hidden, it's going to be a problem for sure. Has the real Aaron Brockovich commented? I have no idea. I would love to know. If you see it, tag me on Twitter. When you knocked and said something about the IRS, a song from VeggieTales started playing in my head. That's funny. I like the VeggieTales too. Thank you so much. Where's the money, Lebowski? Mm-hmm. It also, I love Empire Records, and it also reminds me of like, where's the money? The money is gone, Joe. What do you mean the money is gone? Well, it went to Atlantic City. Is it coming back from Atlantic City? No. Well, what's it doing there? Well, it's probably recirculating by now. It just reminds me of that. It just, yikes. It's just so much. It's really just so much. I laughed my ass off. One sentence said she loaned Erika the 20 million. I've never seen Bravo. I've never seen before Bravo scenes last night. I didn't see that either. I saw Sutton say that she offered to help Erika when the divorce stuff was going down, but I don't know. Do you think that if Erika holds fundraisers for the victims, the bankruptcy may give her a lower figure to pay back? No. She can raise the money however she wants to raise the money. She's going to have to pay the money back. And I don't know if people are going to be fundraising for her to give it back. I think GoFundMe's directly to the victims might be more helpful for the victims at this point. John Baxter said empathy. I think some empathy is what we want to see, really. To quote Up and Adam, oof, like big oofs. Erika's hubris is a big turnoff. It is. The Baccarat flutes, yes. Emily, we believe in you. Go Speed Racer, go. Go Speed Racer, go. All right. Did you buy anything from the Tom Girardi auction? No. I bought 2 things. So excited to pick them up. Christopher T, I love that. Will you send me pictures on social media? I want to see. Or tag me if you share it. I did not. I did. Look, no, I just didn't. It wasn't. I looked. There were things I was like, interesting, but no. Would a prenup help Erika given current events? Not really, because she's not divorced yet. And these were all debts. Well, I mean, these right now, what they're complaining about is all debts earned during the marriage. And she's claiming the law firm is community property because it's not a business entity. So, if it's partly yours, you're responsible for the debts too. So we actually talked a lot about Rex Manning Day on the stream I did on actual Rex Manning Day. It was very fun. I love that you guys love Empire Records. You're so my people. I love you all. Is the auction pickup from I have no idea. I did not look. There was lots of stuff at the auction, including saucy red lingerie that was not hers. I'm sure that's a hit to her too. And look, I also think that going through all of this, Erika, clearly she knew that there was money being spent. Did she know that money was not being paid to the victims and the clients of Tom Girardi? I don't know. Did she know he was under all of these lawsuits? I don't know. Did he tell her, yeah, these are all bullshit. This is how business works. And she's like, oh, I guess this is just how business works. I don't know. But she benefited from it. And she is going to end up in a crater dealing with all of this, a crater of legal fees and a crater owed in this bankruptcy. The weight of this is going to be enormous on her. And I try not to pile on. I will call out the things that I see as snarky, rude, tone deaf, disrespectful to all of the clients that are suffering, because while they were trying to fight for their money with the lawyer who they trusted, she was flying all over the world and getting to perform on Broadway. That's not lost on me. It doesn't mean she knew exactly. And I'm waiting to see the more we see, the more I'm like, in my head going, okay, This leans to me towards she knew some stuff was going on. This leans towards she doesn't. If she knew the law firm was paying her fees just as all of her expenses as a businesswoman, then we might have proof that she knew that the tax accountings weren't right. And that is a bigger problem for her. Well, they're all big problems. That is a big problem for her as well. If she knew that the law firm, not Tom, was paying this. But again, the law firm was a sole proprietorship, and that makes everything kind of messy. This thing is a giant fucking mess. There are a lot of people that aren't going to get their money in this. And that is at the end of the day, the saddest part of all of this. I appreciate all of you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a lawner. Do the likey, subscribey things. Thank you for hanging to the end. To all of you that are still here, thank you to the mods. Love you. Appreciate it. And we will be back on Tuesday. I will see you. I will see you. I will see you soon. Thank you for being a lawner. May your Wi-Fi be strong. May you still have power if you live in the Gulf Coast. Be safe. If they say to do the things, do the things. And be safe, be well. I hope you have power and air conditioning. And I will see all of you in the next one. Have a wonderful Friday night. Thanks for sharing it with me.
Connect with me everywhere. I'm at the Emily D. Baker. If you guys want to join the text, just text Emily.com. If you want to join the channel, lawnerdsunite.com. Happy to have you. Support what we do here on the YouTube.